So today I'm creating this beautiful shaker wreath rocker card, and we're using goodies from the Papercraft Society Box 56, which is by Sam Calcott at Made to Surprise. So to create the card base itself, the rocker part of the card, I've set my circle cutter to 3-inch. So I'm going to cut a circle which is 6-inch wide. I'm just trying to do this so that I waste the least amount of paper. So if we start there. If you've got a cutting mat, it will be better on a cutting mat, but my cutting mat is teeny tiny and won't actually fit what I need on. There we go. I also know there's much better circle cutters out there than that one. So this will create our card base. And in order to do that, I'm going to score it at 3-inch. So pop it on my scoreboard, down that 3-inch, and just fold it and burnish it. Now this does look like it's going to be a fairly small card. The idea is that when I'm finished, it will fit in a standard 6x6 envelope. So I'm going to use my circle nesting dies. My circle nesting dies are Just Time for Tea Designs ones called Circle of Love. I've skipped a middle one, so that one would fit in there. But I want a bit of a broader diameter for my wreath. So I'm going to take the smaller of the two and I'm going to attach it where I want it, because I'm going to cut this bit away. I just want a rough idea of where this one's going to go. Because it is going to be a rocker card, we do need the centre of gravity fairly low, otherwise it is going to tumble. I also want it to go in this envelope, so let's do it on this envelope. There we go. I'm just going to put a bit of tape on that middle one. And we'll get that die cut out. And just check that that will stand up, which it will. Just pop that to one side for now. What we want now is to take the bigger die and this one, because this is where we're going to create the actual wreath that's going to go onto here. We need to create 2 of those. Now, if you weren't having this as a shaker element, if you were just having it as a wreath card, you'd only need 1. But because I'm going to have shaker elements in it. I've lost a die plate. Because we're going to have the shaker elements in it, we do need 2. And so to do that, I'm going to cut them both together. So bob them on. And the reason that I'm cutting them both together is because I will never ever get them exactly the same otherwise. And then while I've got the die cutting machine out, I've also cut 2 circles of acetate using the larger of the circle dies. And these are going to adhere onto the back of here. So I adhered the acetate on using double-sided tape. You can use glue, but I always make a right mess with glue and end up with glue on my actual acetate panel, which I don't want. And I've put some double-sided foam around one side of my circle. I'm just going to use the dust powder that I use for my embossing with a paintbrush, and I'm just going to whiz this around here just to stop my shaker elements from sticking to it, and then I'll get the backing off and we'll get the shaker elements in. I personally find it easier to get the backing paper off and then get the shaker elements in. I know I've watched other people on YouTube do it differently. I just find this really tedious and struggle to do this bit, and then I end up with the shaker elements everywhere. So I'm going to do it this way around. You do what suits you. And that was much less painful than normal. So the shaker elements that came in the Papercraft Society box, absolutely beautiful. They're like little fruits. Oh, I've just seen a mushroom as well. Just spread them out a little bit. Don't want a clump because then they won't actually shake. Or strawberry, slice of apple, cherries. Oh, these are even more beautiful than what I first thought. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this over the top. Now, I always really stress that I can sometimes see the foam underneath. Because of the type of card we're making, and it's a Wreath card, we're not actually going to notice this. So let's get it on at one side, and hopefully the rest of it will just slot into place. And then this is going to fasten onto the card panel here. And for this, I'm using bookbinding glue. It's nice and strong and dries quickly. Just a case of lining it up so we've got that. So we can't see that card base in front of the acetate. There we go. Now, to stop the card from tumbling over, I've got a piece of card which is 1 inch by 3 inch, and I've scored it at half, 1.5 and 2.5. I'm just going to fold this like that, so my two edges are valleys and my middle's a mountain. Tiny bit of glue on these. And then I'm going to put this inside the card to act as a stopper. You just want to be careful because if you get it too low down, it's going to interfere with the rocking mechanism. So as low as you can get it in the middle. And that'll just mean that your card will then stand up. So we can start to decorate this wreath now. So I have stamped, coloured in and fussy cut out the stamp sets from the Papercraft Society box. I've also cut myself some of the leaves, which with the die sets, and I've just coloured the edges of them with some Lucky Clover Distress Oxide. I'm not sure I'm going to use these. I think they are way too close in colour to my card base. However, you never know, we might. I tend to lay my things down and then change it 20 times before I just find a way that I like things. You might just want to go for it, whatever's best for you. Like I say, I want to put my envelope underneath as well because I want to know how much room, if any, I've got at the top. So I've got very little at the top, so I know that not a great deal can hang off the top, but there's nothing to stop us having things on a bit of an angle. Then I've stamped my sentiment and heat embossed it using some Nouveau embossing powder in Sports Car Red. I'm just gonna apply a couple of dobs of glue onto that. I don't want loads because this will make a mess of my acetate, will this glue? And this is going to go in the middle of that wreath. And then I just don't like this green bit down here. So I'm going to use some Nouveau drops on that. Glitter drops in Ruby Slippers. And I might put one or two on here as well. And then we're going to do some glossy accents just on the strawberries on the cupcakes. I haven't got a great deal of this left, otherwise I'd really go to town. I'll have them cherries. Oh, have I got enough? Let's go for these cherries as well. I love it how and when you're walking around, cat speak, when you're walking around the supermarket and you look at the cherries, they always look super shiny. I must order some more of this. I love this stuff. There we go. Leave that all to dry. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching that come together. Please like and subscribe. And if you've got any questions at all, reach out. I will link my blog post in the description below, which will give all the measurements. Thank you.